And one of the things that I struggle with in my career, Devahntau, was so many people that I worked for, they weren't worth it. And I know that's a hard thing to say as a Christian man, but I'm talking about I'm in the workplace. You're my boss. You supervise over me, and you are not respecting me, right? The distrust is on my end. I have absolutely no trust for you because every time I turn around.
Hey guys, so on this episode, we're going to get into kind of the finale of interviewing Tony. He's going to tell us about the weaknesses that he's seen, the change of people, of the different employees he looks to hire. He's going to tell us quite a story about somebody that was really pushing the limits of like what was okay and like the trust that a company gives. So definitely make sure to tune into this one. This has a ton of good value in it. Enjoy this episode, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Bye.
Like, what about those kids that got single moms at home that got one job? And the kids out working at McDonald's at 15, 16, 17 years old, bringing in what little tidbit of money he can bring in, you know, just to help his mother. You know, I mean, that was a reality for me. You know, that was my childhood. Now, when I lived with my grandmother, it was a little bit different. We were okay, but my grandmother also lived through the Depression. So to her, having a glass of milk was a treat. That was a treat.
Man, when you put it like that.
And she would make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I would ask her for a glass of milk, and she would say no. And if I didn't turn lights off, she would take the light bulbs out and lock them up in a cabinet. So I would be in the dark in my room. Is that abuse? No. But let me tell you, I turn off every light. There ain't a light in my house on right now. I'm tell you that.
Not at these prices.
You know what? You can say all you want about the old folks in our life that don't understand us. We say they don't understand us, but why don't we try to understand them? They come from a different generation of people. Love wasn't love like, there's more love in the world now than there's ever been. Are you kidding me? And we still sitting here beating each other up about, you know, ain't enough love going around. There's an immense amount of love. It just needs to be rechanneled in the right direction. A lot of people lost, you know, they think and want to do good, but then somehow or another it ain't good. You know, they get into something that ain't good. There's causes out there that are worth fighting for, that need to happen. And the big is getting too big away from us, and we're down here. But we are all of us out here people. And that's what America was supposed to be, was a people that, you know, we work together as a one nation under God with liberty, justice for all. But look at what's happening. You know, the economy is, you know, the price of everything gone up. Wages ain't going up. Interest rates going up. I mean, it's the same cycle that happens over and over and over. And it's like, why does that cycle keep happening? The big cycle that I'm seeing right now is the cycle of the Roman days, like of an entire civilization going down, because you got too weak. You done got too weak. You done got too lusty and too, what's the other one, you know, where gluttony, you eat too much, we're getting too chubby, we got lazy. Meanwhile, you got other countries that ain't lazy like us.
Oh, yeah.
They go into school 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. They twice as smart as us.
Man,
It ain't their fault. It's our fault.
The sets of priorities right now, I mean, you have, before, you know, people used to say all the time, you've probably heard the comparison, like you take an American student and you look at them like going through college versus you have like a student from like India or from, you know, wherever, some Eastern country, and you just like see their routes throughout the process. And like the one from India or Asia, that person is getting scholarships and interns, and they're like doing their 8 hours of studies, having time for like a little bit of a social, but they're still killing it. And meanwhile, like,
but they don't have much personality sometimes. That's the only problem with those folks. Hey, you got to be smart and have a personality, man. Come on. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got like, and I feel bad for him. I do. It's terrible. No, think about it, man. The doctors, they go to school for so long, attorneys and all these folks, they go to school and go to school and go to school. And they, in the process, what kind of life are they living? You know, are they being fulfilled throughout that time? Mm-hmm. Are you filling your heart with, you know, some joy? Because by the time they're 35, 40 years old, you know, they're I don't know. I don't want to stereotype and say everybody's all the same way, but a lot of the folks that I've met who have spent so much of their lives going to school, they get to the point, not only that, they got school debt, a lot of that going around, and they come out of it and they go and they finally get a job and they really ain't making a whole lot of money, you know? And it's like you put all this into it and all this money into it, then now you owe debt on. And now you're making, you know, less than what I'm making right now.
Yeah, that,
you know, that's weird.
That's been it's been interesting. So I've seen so many different people that have gone the route of the traditional route, and then they come out and they are, I mean, I would say majority of them don't get a job in their field, and they're like floundering for like a solid 6 months to 2 years. And I've seen some of those people come and they get like a good job after like really suffering in the trenches, working the bad hours, thinking that they're only going to be doing their 40 and really
that's
they're doing 70.
That's the apprenticeship we were talking about. The apprenticeship is apprenticeship. We all got to do it.
Yeah.
We all got to do it. You got to learn.
That's the thing, right? Like everybody's going to pay their dues in some way. Either you're going to pay your dues going to school and then being at the bottom of wherever you get hired. You're going to pay your dues going to the military and being the little guy that gets pushed around until you gain the respect of know, all your guys. You're going to be paying your dues even at church, honestly. Like if you
definitely at church. If any place you should pay your dues is at church,
right? Like the whole like first, you think about it, right? The whole first year of you being in like a church, like everybody's gonna love you, accept you, and all that, but you kind of have to like be on your P's and Q's because people are still trying to kind of suss out like what's your intent, what are you trying to do there, like are you genuine or are you here for some other purpose, like and like the goal is to like put everybody where they belong, but also like there's definitely a thing of like wolf in sheep's clothing that can kind of happen. And so like, in every different place you have to pay your dues, and that's why like the whole thing where
you have to earn people's trust and respect. That's really what it boils down to. And if you're not somebody who appreciates the fact that you need to earn their respect and trust to the people that are your elders. And when I say elders, I mean the pastor of a church, the deacons of a church, your owner of your company, your foreman on a job, your supervisor, whoever it is. You have to earn their trust and respect. And one of the things that I struggled with in my career, Devahntau, was so many people that I worked for, they weren't worth it. And I know that's a hard thing to say as a Christian man, but I'm talking about I'm in the workplace. You're my boss. You supervise over me, and you are not respecting me, right? The distrust is on my end. I have absolutely no trust for you because every time I turn around, you know, you're doing this or saying that, or this is happening or that's happening, and then
you're over here working your tail off, thinking that you're making boss proud, and really he's talking about how you didn't get this, and that.
Yeah, and or he's making mistakes, or she or whatever, and they're making mistakes on their judgment side, as far as their supervision side, that are negatively affecting you. And you find yourself doing the same job 3 times in a row. That is demoralizing.
Listen.
Because of someone's inadequacy. And then the bosses show up, and then the finger might get pointed at you. This is the kind of stuff that goes on out there. You know, there's a lot of just snakes and foxes and bad people, man. I mean, I've called my company, Revolving Door Electric many times. I've hired and fired at least 400 people. in 15, 14 years of business. Because I don't play that. I don't play that.
Yeah.
I will respect you. I don't boss up on nobody. I don't look at you and say, because I told you, I want you to go do this because I told you to do it. No, I ask you to do it. And then I pay you to do it. And I pay you well to do it. So that you're supposed to have respect for me. I feel like it's my duty as a business owner that I need you to trust and respect me. More so than I can trust and respect you. You're the protege. I don't know what you're capable of. You don't even know what you're capable of. It's my job as a leader to sit back and look and cultivate and try to find the pros and cons about you. Weed out the cons. Let's talk about those. This is what I see. We just fired a guy today. Came to work here with high expectations because I hired him based on high expectations. They didn't pan out, right? So then I moved him into some lower positions, but actually the same or better money. The money was still the same. Wow. But because he wanted the clout, he didn't get it. And I'm not just going to put you in a position. I'm not going to do that. Like, you got to earn that big time, especially that particular position. So I'm like, no, so he moves down here. Then come through the grapevine. He's handing out his own business cards to my customer. Right? No. The story that's just the beginning of the story, Devahntau. I just let this guy go today. So I go and I present this card to him that a customer sent to me, because my customers are loyal. I've been around and they know how I am, and they know how I am in business, and they trust me. So they sent me this card. Hey, this guy sent me this. He gave me his own personal card. I thought you should know this. So I took it on the job and I showed it to him in person, face to face, because there's some things I want to do face to face. And I showed it to him. Hey, what's going on right here, man? What are you doing? And then he just dropped, After that job, he quit. When he quit, I put my arm around him. I said, you're welcome back anytime you want to come back. I said, you're a good electrician. We had our discussion about the card. You said, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. When I first hired you, all you talked about was starting your own business. I admire that, but I ain't going to go tell the owner of a new business I just started working at that's what I want to do. Because now you want to learn all my tricks? Good luck, by the way. Have fun. You can have all the fun doing that, right? Right? So you can have all the fun learning that stuff you want. Step up to the plate. We'll be willing to bring you in. The society welcomes you. But, a lot of people ain't like that. So then he moves on. He leaves, goes to my competitor. That didn't work out. Next thing you know, he's sitting at home, and I hear through the grapevine he's sitting at home. So I say, hey, Carlos, I told you anytime you want to come back, bro, I'll let you come back. So he says, all right, let's talk. So then we talk. So we bring him back, this and that and the other. Long story short, I've said, listen, I got an administration. There's me, CEO, I got CFO. I'm currently the COO too. And then I got my service directors team and all that. All them people is your boss. Just like I'm your boss, we your boss. This is admin. He's given attitude to one of the admin. I say, attitude, man. If I read you the text, bro, if I read the audience these texts, everybody would say, I'll fire him too. Dang. I'll fire him too. You can't have an attitude with somebody.
Click the link in the description to download these text messages, guys. No, not really.
I can get them to you if you want. I'll black out the names. We'll redact the names or whatever that's called, redact them. It's rough though, and we all know, man. We've all been a part of this where a text come off the wrong way. And we didn't mean it that way, and sometimes I tell my team all the time, I say, just pick up the phone, man. Let somebody hear your voice, because a text is just black and white. But if I can hear your voice, it can either comfort me or it can rattle me up. Right. Maybe I'm going to get shook up, and feel like, oh, this is important. Let me deal with this right now. Or we're just talking and chatting like you and I, like, hey, how's the job going? Is it going? Yeah, everything's good. I should be able to wrap it up, and just keep it, good and respectful and honest and all that good stuff, Yeah. Rattling on too much about all that.
No, dude, this is exactly what the point of it is.
Rattling on, right? That's what podcasting is.
What do you think is like the disconnect of the mindset when someone starts, like that 400 number you gave? That's like a good kind of litmus test of like people that clearly weren't cut for it. What's like the biggest thing that you've seen that you've been like, yeah, that's just not it, brother. Like you're gonna have to work on these things over here.
With the apprenticeship?
Right.
Yeah. So if a man comes into the trade, if or a woman, I mean, we just recently had a female worker in the company. And was stronger and built bigger than you, Devahntau. Which we know that's saying a lot, man. Wow. I mean, you kind of cut. Nah, for real, she was a really strong woman. Really strong woman. I was when I first saw her.
Picturing like a Vanessa Williams type.
Yeah, maybe stronger than that, and strong, big shoulders and everything. But to answer your question. What is the disconnect I see? So one of the things that I'm seeing in my industry, and I know this is happening in construction in general, folks, somebody got to build all this stuff. Somebody got to build it. Do you want to build it? Like, because you can, and you can make good money out here doing it. Right, you can. You can get it. I love architecture. You can get into architecture or blueprints and math and things like that. You gotta figure out what you want to do young. Get that moving, move in that direction. If there's schooling involved, get involved in the schooling. Do your own self-education. That's personally the best education you can get. There's a lot of info online now that you can learn. You don't even need college anymore. You can just read it online if you want to. But the biggest disconnect I think I'm seeing, man, is that hopelessness of people just not believing that they're going to make any money. It's just they ain't no money in this, and you're making $15-16 an hour, and rent is $1,800 a month, and now the food is almost a third more. It's crazy that these are
real numbers too. I was looking at my girlfriend. She's getting ready to renew her lease, and she was looking at the options, and it's like, oh, if you only do like 6 months, you're looking at like a solid $1,760.
Right.
But if you sign up for a year and a half, it'll come down to $1,600. It's like, wow.
So then 4 young people all move in together.
Yep.
And I hope they're all Christian, because if they're not, and there's one bad one in there, that could be an issue. I say Christian, but I just hope they're good. I can't imagine my son and 3 friends that I can think of off the top of my head all living in that place. They'd end up in prison.
Honestly,
they probably would.
Like,
they drink, they drive like maniacs. They have other. My son and his friends don't partake in some of the other illegal drugs that are involved, but some of the people that they know and that they've been around and been to their homes and stuff like that, they're doing other illegal drugs. Bad drugs, bad stuff. And I tell my son, I'm like, dude, don't be a part of that, man. Just walk away. And I did it. I didn't see white powder until I was 20 years old. I didn't see marijuana I smelled it when I was a kid. I didn't know what it was, and my mom told me, and I was like, I never knew what it was. I didn't see it until I was 21 and out of the Navy. So I didn't have drugs, any part of drugs in my life as a youth. None. Wow. Zero. Drinking, yeah. I graduated with 16 in my senior class in Colorado. Yeah, we used to get kegs and go up in the mountains and drink the cup and burn the bonfires. Yeah, we had a blast. It was great. But we were also so tight-knit that, nobody was sleeping with anybody. So that made for a good vibe. And when there's only 16 of you and half of them are girls and half are guys, like, you don't want to be fooling around. Well, what do they call that? Don't poop where you eat, right?
Yeah. Don't poop in your own backyard. Go to the neighbors or something.
Yeah. We was all going to other towns, but I mean, for me, I wasn't active like that.
So I don't know what
Did I answer your question though? Did I? That would be the thing.
Yeah.
You asked about apprenticeship and what is the disconnect? What do I see? I see a little bit of the hopelessness. I also see a change in. I don't want to say this and sound bad, but a lot of men just don't seem like men anymore as young boys. It's like and maybe it's because I'm 50. Maybe I'm my dad or somebody else's dad 20 years ago looking at me. Because I did a lot of stupid things. I struggled financially. I was making $11 an hour as an electrician. I started off making $7 an hour as an electrician. And the first day they gave me a jackhammer this big, and I had a concrete on the side of underneath a Taco Bell and chisel all this stuff out. Man, I was dead, bro. I was dead that day. And then I started learning how to bend pipe and doing this and doing that. And then I'm making $9 an hour. And that was 6 months later, and they had me running a little bit of my own stuff. Then I was making $11 an hour. Then I moved from California back to Colorado. They gave me $11 an hour. Then I got $11.50. Then I got $12. Then I got $13. And then I got here in Orlando, got my journeyman's license at 25, which was in the lowest 5% of guys in the United States. You know, you go for that license, get that paper, get that paper.
Money.
You know, once you get a lot, hey, look, this is what I did. Because when a guy comes to me and he tells me I got a journeyman's, and he shows me that paper, I know, okay, you put your time in. You earn that. You can't just get a journeyman's license by going and taking the test. You got to have 4 years in, and then you can take the test, and you got to pass that test.
And you got to have, the schooling's mandatory with it too, huh?
Not necessarily, no.
No.
Schooling isn't mandatory.
Really?
You just got to have 4 years in the profession, which quite honestly, I mean, the schooling that they teach here in the Orlando area is it ain't that great. What needs to be taught is electrical theory. That's the first thing that people need to learn. You can learn that online, guys, in like 4 hours and watch it every day, and you'll be good. So you don't have to pay for that if you don't want to. You can go right there and look up Ohm's Law. It's called Ohm's Law. It's just a scientific law.
It'll explain so much of everything.
Yeah.
You learn those formulas, you can figure out almost anything, basically.
Well, yeah, like, you know, I mean, you got the sun, you got the earth, which the earth is like an electron floating around a proton with the solar system, which we look just like a little atom. So, you know, it just expands into this thing we call a universe. So ask me how big I think God is, and infinity. Infinity. Because where does it go, and how do you put a limitation on it? You can't. Even science says infinity.
Right.
I'm the alpha, I'm the omega. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, it's so easy to match science up to you know, the word of God.
Oh man,
it's so easy. Like,
I could be on that too. Yeah, like,
we could probably
did that.
Yeah, you could get crazy with
science
that.
Science and psychology and like the Bible and how they met. Oh, we could.
It's a beautiful
that
subject.
Could be a whole.
It's a beautiful subject for sure.
We're definitely gonna have to get like another, like,
we'll have to do this again.
We
for sure,
have
bro.
to do this again.
For sure.
Like,
let's see what the audience thinks though too.
Yeah.
What if this goes viral, bro? What are we gonna do? What car are you gonna buy first?
Man, listen, I think I would have to get me something.
Don't get vain on me now. That's one of them 7 deadly sins, bro. Man,
I got a cool little Toyota Camry. I think I'll just service it first.
Nah, you lying. No, I already drive an Escalade, man, so I'm good.
Oh man, yeah, you're at the ball on stage already. Oh man,
it's still giving me problems though.
Really?
Yeah, transmission problems, man.
True that. So, well, you guys, I have enjoyed the heck out of. We've been going like an hour 20. Like
This is an hour 20.
This is an hour 20. Yeah, 82 minutes.
Wow.
You guys,
you gotta chop it up into 2 segments or something.
Ain't
nobody gonna listen to an hour and 20 of us rambling on.
I would love to see some of you guys' favorite moments from this conversation. This man, Tony, like, has bestowed so much wisdom and just the different experiences and the way that your grit and your heart for God and your just authenticity
and my fellow human, man, that's something that matters. Because not only if what we read and believe in the Bible is true, what we do here matters up there, you know, because I'm gonna be living with you up there too, right? I mean, not like living together like that, like we neighbors and all, but you know, we're supposed to be part of a unit, you know, and right now, this is a vessel that God gave us to work within, and this is the environment that God gave us to work within. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're trying to cultivate that, make it a better place. That's what I'm always trying to do. Yes, I got my we all got our little secrets. I don't got no skeletons in the closet. Y'all can open all my closets. I don't care. But I got things that I'm not proud of in my life. We all, I know people that don't. I do know people, young men, especially around your age, that they ain't got no skeletons and they ain't got nothing they ain't proud of. Like, they ain't done something that's like just raunchy bad. Now, I ain't done nothing raunchy bad, but I got a child in California that I was never married to her mother, like that. That's not something that makes me proud of myself. I also wasn't a father to her. I didn't raise her, and those are things that I'm not proud of. Those are things that at night I pray to God and ask God to forgive me for, and pray for my daughter. And she's a woman of God, which is miraculous. When my late wife and her became such close friends, and my late wife introduced her to, brought her to God. Like, it's funny how God can work,
really?
Bro. Man, come on. We can go all night on stories about God. Don't get me going there.
You guys.
I'm talking about laying hands on people. I have cast a demon out of a man. One time in my life, I did it. One time.
You guys, you gotta get this man back on the podcast, you guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, share it with people. I'll enjoyed
be back if you need to.
The heck out of this, Tony.
I have too.
You guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode for you guys, but this is gonna happen again. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been your first episode of the Inspired Challenge podcast. Your host, Devahntau Colonel, here with Tony, and this has been just an amazing first episode.
Great. Had a blast, man. Had a blast, bro. Till next time.
Till next time.
Might have to come visit your church.
Hey, yo, let's go. Tony has been so awesome to interview. He has given so much in the way of knowledge, giving the business owner's perspective of what's lacking in some of the people he's hiring. This is straight from the horse's mouth as far as what they feel is missing. How can you fill that gap? How can you be the person that comes in and picks that up? And if you have the skill, the ability, the perseverance, and especially the youth to do it, then it's something that I'm way, way in support of. But I hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series of interviews from Tony's, as well as, all the clips that come out, just to try and make it easier for you to be able to digest some of the moments that stood out to me personally the most. But other than that, I'll be with you guys next week with your next interview. Until then, y'all take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.